That's what Quincy give me. Quincy give me somebody that's in love with their abuser. No disrespect to him, but because if that's the case, then he was a victim at some point.
Just looking at my beautiful son, boy, you's a beautiful black king. Jesus, you just woo, man. I'm blessed. Love you. That's you. I mean, what you do?
They say every family has secrets, but when it comes to the Combs household, the whispers have turned into full-blown shockwaves. For years, the world saw only the glamour, red carpets, mansions, and that perfect father-son bond between Quincy Brown and his adoptive dad, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. But now everything's changing. In the past few weeks, Quincy's cryptic posts and emotional live streams have left fans stunned, hinting that life behind those mansion doors was nothing like the fairy tale everyone imagined.
But yeah, I think Quincy in love with Diddy. Like, I don't know father shit. I just think he love him. He in love with him. I think, because somebody been giving you sex since she was sucking your dick and all that shit. Like, a woman's been sucking my dick since I was 11, 12.
What really happened inside that world of flashing lights and luxury? Why does Quincy suddenly look so haunted when Diddy's name comes up? And what are these new stories surfacing from people who claim to have seen more than they should have? Some fans say Quincy's finally breaking free. Others think he's being manipulated into speaking out. But one thing's clear. Something heavy has been building for years, and it's all coming to the surface now. As social media explodes with speculation, the question echoes across every comment section. Did the fame, fortune, and family name come at a price too dark to imagine? Stay tuned, because what's coming next might change everything we thought we knew about Diddy's empire. Brown sat alone in a quiet room, the kind of silence that hums louder than any noise. The blinds were drawn, the light from his phone screen flickering across his face as messages poured in, some supportive, some cruel, and some just confused. For years, he'd been known as Diddy's golden boy, the adopted son living the dream life every young artist wished for. But now, that image was cracking. People were replaying his latest live stream, where his voice trembled as he said he needed to speak his truth. No one expected what came after that. Fans had always admired the bond between Quincy and Diddy, calling them one of Hollywood's most inspiring father-son duos. But those who knew them closely whispered about tension, about unspoken arguments that never made it to the tabloids. According to people close to the family, it wasn't fame that broke Quincy. It was what came with it. They said growing up under Diddy's influence wasn't easy. There were expectations, strict image control, and a pressure to smile even when everything felt wrong. The young star who once called Diddy his greatest mentor was now hinting that those years left emotional scars he's still trying to understand. It all started, insiders claim, with a single conversation that went public by accident. During an interview meant to promote a new project, Quincy was asked about family. The question was innocent enough until he paused. The silence stretched. He smiled, then said quietly, "Sometimes family isn't what it seems." The interviewer brushed past it, but social media didn't. Clips of that line spread like wildfire, sparking theories that something deep was brewing behind the scenes. As the rumors grew, so did Quincy's unease. He stopped attending public events with Diddy, skipped red carpets they usually walked together, and posted vague messages about finding peace and breaking patterns. Fans flooded his comments, asking what was wrong. At first, he ignored them. But then came that emotional live stream, a late-night session where he spoke softly, choosing each word like it might explode. "I've been quiet too long," he said. "Sometimes silence protects the wrong people." Within minutes, those words were trending worldwide. Sources close to Quincy say his relationship with Diddy shifted after the passing of Kim Porter, his mother. Her death hit him hard, and according to people who knew them, he began questioning everything. He'd lost the one person who balanced the chaos, who made the mansion feel like a home instead of a stage. Without her, the masks fell away. What was left, one friend said, was a man trying to control a family like a brand, not a father protecting his children. The same friend claims that's when Quincy began pulling away. Emotionally first, then publicly. The entertainment industry thrives on perception, and Diddy had always been a master of controlling it. But even the best image managers can't stop cracks from showing. Behind closed doors, insiders describe long arguments about independence, image, and loyalty. One close source said Quincy had been trying to build his own identity for years, separate from the Combs legacy. He loved music, acting, everything, they said, but he wanted to do it on his own terms. That didn't sit well with Diddy. The tension reached its peak one night during a private gathering. According to a person present, the argument started small, about creative direction, but quickly escalated. Voices were raised, words turned harsh, and before long, the entire room went silent as Quincy stood his ground. Witnesses say Diddy's expression changed from shock to cold restraint, the kind that said there would be consequences later. Quincy walked out, and that was reportedly the last time he spoke to his stepfather face-to-face for months. As rumors spread, people close to both sides tried to mediate, but neither seemed willing to bend. Diddy's team maintained that everything was fine, calling it family differences blown out of proportion. Quincy, on the other hand, grew quieter, but more expressive online. His art started reflecting pain, lyrics about betrayal, confusion, and breaking free. Fans noticed, analyzing every line, convinced he was telling his story through his music. One track in particular sent shockwaves through social media. It was a slow, haunting melody with a line that said, "He built me from gold, then locked me in a cage." Fans didn't need confirmation to connect the dots. Thousands of comments flooded in, urging Quincy to speak up, to tell his truth. For weeks, he stayed silent. Until now. The breaking point reportedly came when a close family friend leaked messages hinting that Quincy had been trying to reach out to his biological father again. According to them, Diddy wasn't happy about it. The messages suggested heated arguments, accusations of disrespect, and emotional manipulation. One message allegedly read, "You're either with me or against me." Whether those texts were real or not, the damage was done. Public opinion turned fast, and fans began asking hard questions. What was life really like behind all that glamour? Was Quincy's story just one of rebellion? Or was it a cry for help buried under years of silence? Reporters began digging into old interviews, analyzing every smile, every gesture, every moment. Quincy seemed uncomfortable. People noticed how his tone changed whenever Diddy's name was mentioned, how he'd look away or laugh awkwardly. It was subtle, but now it all seemed obvious. For years, Diddy was seen as the mentor who turned young talents into stars. Now his image was being re-examined under a harsher light. The same fatherly figure who preached family unity was being painted as controlling, even toxic. Quincy's recent words only added fuel to that fire. "You can't build peace on pain," he said in a quiet clip that fans keep replaying. "And you can't keep pretending that love is control." By the time the morning headlines hit, the internet had already chosen sides. Some defended Diddy, calling the situation a private family matter blown out of proportion. Others stood with Quincy, praising his courage for speaking up about emotional struggles in an industry obsessed with appearances. And through it all, Quincy stayed quiet again, leaving everyone hanging on to every post, every emoji, every silence. But behind the scenes, things were moving fast. Insiders whispered that more people from Diddy's inner circle were stepping forward, hinting at similar experiences of emotional pressure and manipulation. Nothing was confirmed, but the pattern was too loud to ignore. Fans started calling it the golden cage syndrome, being trapped in luxury while losing your sense of self. And for Quincy, that description fit too perfectly. He had grown up in front of cameras, surrounded by fame and wealth, yet he always seemed slightly apart, like he never truly belonged in that world. Those who knew him describe a kid who loved quietly, dreamed deeply, and carried the weight of expectations that weren't his to bear. And now, with everything finally unraveling, the world was beginning to see the real Quincy Brown, not the brand, not the image, but the person still trying to heal from years spent living in someone else's shadow. And somewhere deep inside, he must have known that once you start telling your story, there's no going back. In the days that followed, Quincy's silence became louder than any statement he could have made. Social media turned into a battlefield of opinions, fans posting old family pictures, celebrities hinting at hidden truths, and gossip pages dissecting every rumor. One post in particular reignited the flames. A clip from an old birthday celebration where Diddy had made an emotional toast to his beautiful son. What once looked like a touching father-son moment now felt eerie to many viewers. People began to notice Quincy's uncomfortable smile, the stiffness in his body language. The comments section filled with phrases like, "You can see the pain in his eyes," and "That's not love, that's control." Friends of Quincy started speaking to blogs anonymously. One described him as a gentle soul forced to live in a storm. They claimed that Diddy's version of parenting wasn't about nurturing, it was about molding. Everything had to look perfect. Every photo needed to shine. There were rules for appearances, for words, even for emotions. "Smile no matter what," one insider recalled Diddy saying. "Never let the world see you weak." But that kind of perfection came at a cost. Quincy's friends say he carried that weight for years, pretending everything was fine while quietly battling feelings of guilt and confusion. They said he loved his stepfather, but he also feared him, not in the physical sense, but emotionally. It was the kind of fear that came from constantly walking on eggshells, afraid to disappoint the man who claimed to have given him everything. One close friend revealed that Quincy often confided in them about wanting to leave law altogether, to disappear from the spotlight for a while. He wanted peace, the friend said softly. He wanted to feel like himself again. And then, unexpectedly, Quincy's biological father entered the picture again. Al B. Sure had always maintained his distance publicly, respecting Quincy's relationship with Diddy. But after the recent live stream, he posted a cryptic message of his own, just a black background with the words, "Truth always finds light." Fans went wild, interpreting it as confirmation that something bigger was unfolding behind the scenes. Media outlets began connecting dots that may or may not have existed, pulling up old interviews, tracing timelines, and suggesting there was more tension in the family than anyone realized. One late night, Quincy was spotted at a quiet restaurant in West Hollywood, dining with his biological father. The pictures went viral within minutes. The two men hugged, smiling genuinely, something people hadn't seen from Quincy in a long time. Tabloids called it the reunion that broke the internet, while others said it was the beginning of a new chapter. Behind the glossy headlines, however, insiders claim that moment came after years of emotional struggle. Quincy had finally found the courage to reach out, to rebuild the connection that fame had once severed. But if people expected Diddy to stay silent, they were wrong. Within days, the mogul posted his own cryptic message saying, "Family doesn't fade, even when the world tries to twist it." Fans saw it as a direct response to Quincy's actions. Some called it an olive branch. Others saw it as another attempt to control the narrative. And soon after, another bombshell dropped. A leaked audio clip, allegedly of a heated phone conversation between Quincy and Diddy. The authenticity of the clip was never verified, but that didn't stop it from dominating every headline. In the clip, a voice that sounded like Quincy said, "You can't buy my silence anymore," while another deeper voice responded, "You wouldn't be here without me." Whether real or fabricated, it captured the public's imagination. Everyone had an opinion. Talk shows debated it. Fans chose sides, and hashtags like #CoshFrequency and Team Diddy began trending. The story had grown beyond a family dispute. It was now a full-blown public spectacle. Quincy, however, didn't join the noise. Instead, he posted a short video of himself playing the piano. No words, just music. His caption read, "Healing sounds louder than hate." It was poetic, vulnerable, and raw. Fans flooded the comments with support, praising his strength and courage. Others, though, questioned if he was being guided by people looking to exploit his pain for clicks and attention. It was a fair question in an industry that often turns personal trauma into profit. Meanwhile, whispers began circulating that other people close to Diddy were considering coming forward with their own experiences. Again, nothing was confirmed, but every day brought new sources with new claims. It was a never-ending wave of speculation that blurred the line between truth and gossip. For every voice defending Diddy, another emerged painting him as a man obsessed with control. One journalist described it perfectly. It's not about what's true or false anymore. It's about who the public wants to believe. Behind the scenes, Quincy was said to be working on a personal project, something deeply emotional. Insiders claimed he was writing a series of essays reflecting on fame, family, and forgiveness. One person close to him hinted that he wasn't trying to destroy anyone. He just wanted to tell his side, to reclaim the narrative of his own life. He's tired of being a footnote in someone else's story, they said. This time, he wants to write his own. But while Quincy searched for peace, others saw opportunity. Online channels and gossip platforms began pushing sensational stories about what supposedly happened inside Diddy's mansion. Everything from strict curfews to emotional manipulation to alleged party secrets became headline material. None of it was proven, but the public ate it up. People wanted drama, and the internet gave it to them. As this chaos unfolded, something unexpected happened. Fans started revisiting old interviews of Quincy's late mother, Kim Porter. In one clip, she spoke about motherhood, about wanting her children to grow up grounded despite fame. Her words felt haunting now, as if she had seen this day coming. "You can give them the world," she'd said, "but if you take away their peace, you've given them nothing." That quote resurfaced across timelines, attached to images of Quincy looking weary but determined, somewhere between grief and truth. Between silence and confession, Quincy Brown had become the center of a cultural storm. He hadn't released a full statement, yet the world had built 1,000 stories around his quiet expressions and cryptic words. Each time he appeared in public, cameras flashed, not out of admiration anymore, but curiosity, waiting for a new sign, a new message, a new reveal. And still, Quincy said nothing. Just that same quiet strength, that same haunted calm. Yet behind closed doors, people close to him whispered that something big was about to drop. Something that could shift the entire narrative once. Again, the tension surrounding Quincy reached a point where it felt like the entire entertainment industry was holding its breath. Everyone wanted to know what he would do next. Paparazzi began camping outside his apartment, and gossip outlets followed his every move. Still, Quincy remained distant, quiet, and unreadable. There was something deliberate about his silence now, like he was choosing his next words carefully. He wasn't just reacting anymore, he was preparing. Then one evening, out of nowhere, a new video surfaced. It wasn't on any talk show or interview circuit. It came straight from Quincy's own account. Sitting in a dimly lit studio, he looked directly into the camera and began speaking slowly. "I've been holding a lot inside," he said, his voice steady but low. "Some things can't stay hidden forever. This isn't about revenge. It's about truth, about understanding how silence turns into chains." He didn't name names, didn't accuse anyone directly, but everyone knew who he was referring to. Within minutes, the video spread across every platform imaginable. Fans flooded the comments with words of love and heartbreak. One person wrote, "This is what breaking generational trauma looks like." Another said, "He's brave for speaking, even if he can't say everything." Hashtags like #GuysQuincyTruth and #AD Break the Silence started trending worldwide. Major outlets scrambled to interpret his words, debating whether he was confirming the long-swirling rumors or simply processing old wounds in public. But the calm that followed didn't last. A well-known podcast host released a supposed insider interview claiming to have first-hand knowledge of what life in the Combs mansion was like. The anonymous guest described long nights, extreme pressure, and the feeling that everything was performative. They alleged that people in the house were expected to act a certain way, even off camera, and that expressing unhappiness wasn't an option. Though the claims couldn't be verified, the timing made it impossible to ignore. Suddenly, everyone was linking it to Quincy's cryptic confessions. The situation grew even more complicated when some of Diddy's other children began posting subtle messages of their own. One son shared a photo of a cloudy sky with the caption, "Clearing storms," while another wrote, "Family means forgiveness, even when it hurts." Fans went wild with interpretations. Were they defending their father, supporting their brother, or simply trying to calm the chaos? No one knew, but the internet wasn't interested in waiting for clarity. Speculation became its own truth. Amid the chaos, Diddy himself made a rare live appearance at an event in Miami. Wearing his trademark shades and an all-black suit, he addressed the rumors indirectly. "You can't believe everything you see online," he said with a grin that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Family is complicated. We go through things, but love always wins." The crowd cheered, but many noticed how his tone shifted, almost defensive. Commentators later said he looked tired, even shaken. A man used to controlling the spotlight but suddenly unsure how to handle it. While Diddy tried to maintain his image, Quincy's quiet resilience drew more empathy. He wasn't attacking anyone. He was reflecting, healing, and letting the world draw its own conclusions. One journalist wrote, "Quincy Brown has mastered the art of saying everything without saying anything at all." And maybe that was the point. He didn't need to accuse or expose. His eyes, his tone, his pauses, everything spoke volumes. Behind the scenes, however, things were still turbulent. People close to the family revealed that lawyers and publicists were involved now, working to manage the fallout. There were talks of statements, of cease and desist letters, of reputation damage control. One insider said Diddy felt betrayed, claiming he had given Quincy the world and couldn't understand why he was being painted as the villain. But those close to Quincy insisted it wasn't about blame. It was about healing. He wasn't trying to ruin anyone. He was trying to reclaim his peace. And then came a shocking twist. An old recording of Kim Porter resurfaced online. It was a short clip from an old interview she gave years before her passing. In it, she talked about motherhood and hinted at how difficult it could be raising children in a world full of illusions. She said, "Sometimes love gets twisted when fame walks in. You think you're doing what's best for your kids, but you end up protecting an image instead of their hearts." Fans were quick to connect her words to Quincy's current revelations. It felt almost prophetic, as if she had seen this moment coming long before anyone else did. People began posting tributes to Kim, calling her the voice of reason and the angel watching over Quincy. The conversation shifted from scandal to sympathy. Even those who weren't fans of celebrity drama found themselves touched by the story of a young man trying to find himself after years of confusion and control. One fan wrote, "This isn't gossip. This is about breaking free from pain that's been passed down." Another commented, "Every family has secrets, but few have the courage to face them in public." As Quincy's story gained traction, so did the questions about what really went on behind closed doors. Were the whispers true? Or were people projecting their own fears onto a complex family dynamic? Even major outlets started treading carefully, labeling every segment with alleged and reported. Nobody wanted to be the one to cross the line. But it was too late. Public opinion had already decided that something dark lurked beneath the surface, even if no one could prove it. Through it all, Quincy remained calm, almost unnervingly so. He started appearing more frequently on social media again, posting peaceful moments, photos of sunsets, quotes about forgiveness, clips of him meditating. To his fans, it looked like a man finally reclaiming his spirit. "He's learning to live without fear," one follower wrote. Others speculated that he was preparing to release a documentary or memoir to tell his story in full. Whatever it was, anticipation grew by the day. Then, just when it seemed the story might finally fade, another spark hit the fire. An unverified message surfaced, claiming that Quincy was in talks with a major streaming platform to release an exclusive interview. If true, it could mean the world was finally going to hear everything. Uncut, unfiltered, and direct from Quincy himself. The idea alone was enough to send shockwaves across social media. Would he finally confirm the rumors? Would he defend his stepfather? Or would he reveal even more than anyone was ready for? The internet couldn't get enough of the suspense. Every entertainment blog ran the same headline in different words. Quincy's truth is coming. And yet, even as the world speculated about what he might say next, those closest to him insisted that his goal wasn't to destroy, it was to heal. But in Hollywood, healing and chaos often look the same from the outside. As one insider put it, Quincy isn't just fighting a person. He's fighting the illusion that fame means happiness, and that's a battle nobody wins easily. And somewhere deep in that truth, between pain and forgiveness, the next chapter of this story was already writing itself. The air felt heavier than usual when Quincy finally stepped out in public again. It was a charity gala in Los Angeles, a place filled with flashing lights, glamorous gowns, and the very people who had spent months whispering his name behind closed doors. Cameras clicked instantly. Every movement, every smile, every blink became a headline. This wasn't just another red carpet, it was a statement. After months of silence, the son everyone thought had walked away from Hollywood was standing tall, calm, and unshaken. The reporters didn't waste time. "Quincy, are the rumors true?" one shouted. "Did something really happen between you and Diddy?" Another pressed. But Quincy didn't flinch. He smiled politely, gave a brief nod, and walked inside without saying a single word. That silence once again spoke volumes. By morning, social media was flooded with new theories. Some saying he had made peace with his stepfather, others claiming his silence meant the opposite. One user summed it up best. "He's not denying it. He's just done explaining pain to people who want entertainment." Inside the gala, witnesses described a mix of tension and pride. Quincy's friends surrounded him, offering support, while industry figures watched from a distance, unsure which side of the story to believe. A few even said Diddy was expected to attend but backed out last minute. That small detail alone sent the internet into overdrive. "He didn't show up because he knew," one tweet read. This was Quincy's night and he couldn't handle it. As the evening unfolded, Quincy took the stage briefly to introduce a performance by a young artist. Before stepping away, he paused and said, "Sometimes, the best way to honor love is to stop protecting the version of it that hurt you." The crowd went still. No names, no accusations, just words heavy enough to hang in the air. For a few seconds, you could almost feel the collective heartbeat of everyone in that room. And somewhere in the back, someone whispered, "He finally said it." After that night, things began to shift. Instead of tabloid chaos, the conversation around Quincy turned reflective. Podcasts started discussing generational trauma, emotional control, and the price of fame. People began using his story as a lens to talk about their own families, their own struggles to find identity beyond what others expected of them. Even celebrities who had once stayed quiet began hinting at their own experiences with controlling mentors and toxic fame. One post read, "What Quincy said without saying it, that's the truth too many of us know." Meanwhile, Diddy's camp remained cautious. There were no official statements, only indirect messages about love, unity, and family resilience. Some insiders claimed he wanted to fix things privately, to rebuild the bond, while others said the trust had already been shattered. Still, despite everything, Quincy never spoke against him by name. He refused to turn his pain into ammunition. Instead, he focused on what he called the process of untangling. In an emotional podcast interview, he said softly, "Forgiveness isn't pretending it never happened. It's accepting it and learning how to breathe again." That interview changed everything. People saw a different kind of strength in him, one not built on revenge, but recovery. He talked about how his mother taught him to love even when it hurt, how his biological father helped him rediscover peace, and how he wanted his younger siblings to grow up free from the same emotional chains. "This isn't about hate," he said. "It's about not confusing love with control. Those are not the same thing." The clip went viral within hours, millions of views pouring in, fans calling it the realest thing they've heard in years. The more he spoke, the calmer he became. Gone was the nervous energy of his early posts, replaced by quiet confidence. He began producing short films exploring healing and family identity. His art became therapy, not just for him but for thousands watching. One of his pieces, titled "The Mirror Never Lies," featured a haunting monologue about growing up surrounded by reflections that didn't belong to him. "Everybody told me who I was," the voice said, "but nobody asked who I wanted to be." That line alone resonated across social media, shared by influencers, therapists, and fans alike. But even as he rebuilt, the shadow of the past lingered. Reporters kept digging for new details, trying to find something concrete to confirm the stories behind the drama. Every time a new article appeared, Quincy would simply post another message about peace or gratitude, refusing to feed the frenzy. It was a strategy that frustrated gossip sites but earned him respect from the public. He was redefining the narrative, not as a victim, not as a rebel, but as a survivor reclaiming his name. Then came the final twist. Months later, a journalist asked him if he'd ever consider reconciling with Diddy. Quincy paused, smiled faintly, and said, "I already have. Not the way people expect, but in my heart. Forgiveness doesn't mean you go back. It just means you let go." It was the closure everyone had been waiting for, delivered in the most unexpected way. No anger, no revenge, just acceptance. That one statement turned the entire story from scandal to healing. Fans filled the comments with tears and heart emojis, calling it the perfect ending to a painful chapter. And maybe that's what made his story so different. It wasn't about tearing someone down. It was about showing the world that even in the glittering chaos of fame, real healing takes courage. In a world that thrives on drama, Quincy's quiet defiance became its own revolution. The same night, he posted a single image on his page, a photo of the ocean at sunset with the caption, "Peace finally." It got millions of likes within hours, not because it was flashy or scandalous, but because it felt real. The boy who once lived under the shadow of a legend had finally stepped into his own light. And though the questions may never stop, one thing was clear. Quincy Brown had found his voice, and this time, he wasn't afraid to use it. And that brings us to the question everyone's been asking. What really happened between Quincy Brown and Diddy? Was this just a painful clash between two powerful personalities, or a glimpse into something much deeper about fame, family, and the cost of silence? No one knows for sure, and maybe we never will. But one thing is clear. Quincy's courage to speak his truth has already changed how people look at power, control, and the idea of what it means to have it all. In a world obsessed with perfection, his story reminds us that even the brightest lights can cast the darkest shadows. He isn't the broken son or the defiant rebel the media paints him to be. He's a young man finally learning that peace is louder than pain. His silence used to be his cage, but now it's his power. And maybe that's what scares people most, when the quiet one finally decides to speak. So, what do you think? Is Quincy's journey proof that the truth always finds a way out? Or is this another Hollywood illusion dressed up as redemption? Drop your thoughts below because this conversation is just getting started. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated as this story unfolds. And remember, sometimes the headlines only tell half the story. Stay curious, stay questioning, and we'll see you in the next one.